John, you mentioned the other day about a 6, 7-man rotation. Looks like you've got 6. How important is it to get more than that, or can you live with a 6-man rotation?
Well, 7 would be Eloy. And if Eloy does what he did today, we've got a nice little rotation of 7. In the old days, that's what they played. They play 7 guys. The 8th man was a spot throw-in. And if you weren't in that top 7, it was for a long year. That's the way it used to be. Now you got to play guys or they leave and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, I like my 7. I really do. I would love for us to get that 8th man, whether it was Stacy, whether it's John. You know, I'm even ready to try to go with Jared a little bit. Maybe he's the one will go in there and fight at the guard position, and we'll play him some. But it's safer if you have 8. The other thing I'll tell you, you have a lot of room for error if you have 10, 11 like we did a year ago. I'll give you an example. The couple games that Terrence has played like he's played, he wouldn't have played 25 minutes. He'd have played 10 minutes. That's it. We have no choice. So you got to kind of cajole and grab and hug and yell and, you know, but you got to have somebody out on the court. And that's the issue we have right now. But I like my team. We've got good players who are starting to play together. They listen. Darius has got to get a little tougher. Told him today, the 2 plays at halftime that epitomized what I'm talking about with Darius was the one where he drove right and the guy kind of nudged him and he almost fell into the bench. He didn't hit you that hard. And then the second one was he drove middle and he came to a great and lost that ball. Those are the plays, man, that you got to be tougher than that. You got to be stronger than that, both mentally and physically. And he wants to do it. He is such a great kid. But the only way you change is if it's out there and you accept it. You're right. And we've thrown out there a few things on a couple guys. Like, look, if you do this, we can't play you. And now it's magnified. Now everybody sees it. Now it becomes change. You can do this. You got to be mentally tough. But if you're not mentally tough, you're not making it anyway. Not here at Kentucky. So you got to get that going. So, like I said, I like my team. You know, Josh, 10 rebounds, and I'm like mad at him because he stopped playing in that stretch. So I made him come off the bench like he did a year ago with 3 minutes to go and asked, how you like that now? You want to go back to that? That's when you played last year, those last 3 minutes. Because, you know, you don't want that habit of stopping. We do that in a league game, and it's a 12 or 14-point game, and all of a sudden it's 6, and we're on the road. What are we doing? Taking an L. So we can't have those lapses, which we're still having.
John, what do you think turned the switch on Eloy the last 2 games, that he's much more spirited?
He's doing it in practice. One of the things I said prior to the game was, Eloy, play like you're playing in practice. John Hood, play like you're playing in practice. And there was one other. I told somebody else the same thing. There were 3 guys I said it to. And I said, you guys have had great practices. We went twice on Monday. We had a great practice on Tuesday. The day after the game, Sunday, we had a great practice for an hour and a half. I was stunned. I said, not many teams do what they just did, which is go in there and climb a mountain, go to a battle, come back the next day without sleep or eat, and climb the hill and do another battle. And that's what they did for an hour and a half. They really got after it. So, you know, and I'm just saying, do what you're doing in practice. Yes?
You're familiar with Jamal Mashburn, obviously. That's the record that Duran broke today for single-game points. Just what does that say? What do you think?
I've got 3 really good freshmen because the other one of the 2 may break it again. They're all playing 30 minutes, and we're playing freshmen. You know, it's really funny. You know, John Wall last year got the academic award and finished the term. John Wall, Eric Bledsoe, and DeMarcus Cousins could all have come back and gone to school and been in school academically. Dwayne, what happens if the guys stop going to class here at Kentucky? What if they miss 5 classes? How many? Do you understand when someone says, well, guys don't go to class after the second term? Not here at Kentucky. You don't go to class, you don't play. Is that right? Is it either term? Both terms, right? And who checks the classes? Me? So it's the university. Are they tied to the athletics or the president's office? Okay. Just so you know, I mean, and let me just say this. I hope Brandon Knight has opportunities when the year's out. Either way, next term, he will have 6 A's. It doesn't matter. I mean, these kids, what we're trying to do is do right by these kids within the framework of what it is right now. Now, if you don't know what I was talking about, I hope so. I'm going out. What did I say? Mashburn, who's he? No, it's a great thing. It's a great thing. But you know what? Jamal is always going to have, he changed this Jamal, when he decided to come to Kentucky, it got it from the dregs back to where it was. Jamal Mashburn did it. There's, whether someone scores more points than him or not, does not matter. Jamal changed the direction of this program. No one else, Jamal, he got everybody together, they did it together, and all of a sudden it took off. And then from there, they had, that one year they had 11 pros. Who was I talking to last night about that? He said they had 8. I said, what about the guys that weren't playing? There was another 3. So, and he started it. By him making it cool to come here and playing the way he did, getting them to where he did, the rest of it just flowed. So, won't change. Thanks, guys. Have a great holiday.